Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Today we're going to be working on changing the transmission oil on this B6 Audi S4. So I got 4 quarts of this Redline MT90 oil. It's a GL4. It's the special lubricant used in the Audi transmission. So this is the good stuff. So why are we going to change transmission oil? Well, it's simple. On this car, I really have no history. I don't know when it was done last. So I'm going to do it just as preventive maintenance. Second reason is sometimes when I shift into second gear, if I'm really ginger with it, it kind of just pops out of gear. So I've been doing a little bit of reading, and apparently that happens when your transmission oil is worn. So you guys will see that this procedure is actually really simple. All you gotta do is you gotta jack the car up, make sure it's level. So you gotta jack the front and the rear up at the same height. All you gotta do is climb under the car and find this drain plug. The drain plug is a T55 torque. And if I can just give you guys a little bit of a tip, it would be to start with the fill plug. That way if you end up stripping it, you're not stranded there and your oil's all dumped out and you can't go to the parts store to buy yourself another plug. So I always start with the fill plug and then I go to the drain plug. If I get both of them, then I'll continue and go ahead and drain the oil. Just make sure you have your oil pan under there when you loosen it off. It's going to be about 3.5 quarts that come out of it. Alright, so when the oil's done draining, just make sure that you reinstall the drain plug and then we can start filling it up. So there's a couple different ways that you can fill this thing back up. So one of them, easiest, is a transfer pump. Now, it is easy, but it's messy, and I always find these transfer pumps, they just end up leaking for days and days and days. So I'll show you an even quicker way on these cars. Alright, so if you guys can see this, there's some light right down there. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna take a piece of hose, we're gonna fish it down here and put it into our transmission fill port. Then what we're gonna do is we've got this really small funnel. We're gonna attach it to this tube and we're just gonna pour the transmission oil into this funnel and just let it go into the transmission by gravity. That way you can easily clean this hose and it won't just drip for days and days and days. For this thing to clean it out, you need to take it apart and everything. So. So now when you're doing it this way, you just have to make sure that you periodically check the bottom, make sure you're not overflowing. And what I always do is just leave my oil pan underneath just in case so it doesn't drip all over your floor, you catch it. So these Audi transmissions, they take 3.5 quarts of oil. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can either measure out exactly 3.5 quarts and pour it in, or technically you're supposed to be like 1 millimeter under that fill port, but you can fill it up until it gets to that level and starts pouring over and out, and then that's when you know it's full, when it's kind of pouring out. Obviously you can see which method I used. Alright, so I always like to just pour my oil into jugs and make sure that the oil is relatively clean, not color wise, but there's no like metal debris or flakes or anything like that in there. And then you can see that the oil in this case is pretty dark. When you compare that to the new stuff, which is almost clear, you see that there's probably a little bit of usage on this oil. Now I don't know exactly, like I said, the service history on this vehicle, so it could have been a couple thousand miles or even longer since it's been done. So really Audi recommends you to change oil every 50,000 miles. So. Alright guys, so that's how easy it is to change a manual transmission oil in a B6 Audi S4. Now I think B7 is the same, but regardless, make sure you like and subscribe to see more videos like this in the future.